When Rar and Sons Brewing Company opened its doors in 2004, the tagline was, "The brand new beer with a 150-year history." How do you figure that, Nick? 150-year history, brand new beer.
Good copy.
And there's a real story behind that statement. The Rar family started making beer in America in 1847, almost immediately after William and Natalie Rar immigrated from Rhineland, Germany to Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
That's 1 year before Wisconsin became a state, 1848.
Yes, that's why they immigrated to Manitowoc. The steadily increasing population of European settlers...
Manitowoc?
Manitowoc.
Oh, okay.
The steadily increasing population of European settlers created a demand for beer of better quality than the typical kitchen brew. And William, having come from a long line of German brewers, knew he was the person to fill the void. And the beer steins. His Eagle Brewery was the first lager brewery in Wisconsin. The soil and climate produced a barley of particular virtue, and immediate success commenced. And the needs of neighboring breweries folded to the whims of William Rar. So eventually, William started shipping his malted barley as far as St. Louis, where another German pioneer and enterprising brewer used all he could for his nationally famous brand. Tragically, while on an inspection tour of the brewery in 1880, William fell into a brew kettle and suffered burns from which he never recovered.
Oh, no.
To honor their father, his sons changed the name of the brewery/malt house to William Rar's Sons Company. William's sons continued guiding the malt house, and under their direction, the first scientific malt testing lab was installed, and German patents for the production of roasted and caramel malts in malt coffee were acquired.
What about roasted skin coffee beer?
God.
Thank you.
160 years after William Rar founded the Eagle Brewery, his great-great-grandson and namesake, Frederick William Fritz Rar Jr., felt the pull... Frederick William Fritz Rar Jr. We're on the back. Fritz Rar Jr. felt the pull to brew, and with the blessing of his wife Erin, he opened Rar and Sons Brewing Company on the south side of downtown Fort Worth, Texas in 2004. Knowing the family history, staff at Rar and Sons tend to get a little nervous if Fritz leans over a brew kettle too far. I get a little nervous if Nick leans over the podcast table a little too far after having too many ugly pug black lagers from Rar and Sons Brewing Company.
How you know it's a two-back. Joe's singing.
Oh, how about that for a brewery history? Yeah, a lot of death, a lot of burned skin. Maybe for the first time in the history of...
Find what you love and let it kill you.
Yeah. Hey, cheers. Speaking of.
Cheers. Oh, yeah. Can't wait to die.
By my hand, do you love me?
No.
Well... The first thing, before we even talk about this is a black lager. That is the first style of this beer that we've had on the show. I want to give a big shout out to the donor of this beer. It's a guy by the name of Jack Pullman, and he's from Texas, and brought this beer from Texas. As I talked about, the Fort Worth is where this beer was founded in 2004.
Yeah, right outside Dallas, right?
Yeah, right outside Dallas, and... brought it all the way up to Seattle for us to enjoy. So, Jack, this one's to you. Thank you so much.
Cheers, sir.
I genuinely appreciate you bringing the beer for us.
That's awesome.
It's a great gesture.
That's awesome. And, Joe, you've told me about a little bit of an interesting story about how this connection happened.
Yeah, it's as wild a story as it could. Like, in terms of coincidence, this could not have happened any better. So I work at a big tech company here in Seattle. I work at Microsoft. I don't know if I said it on the show. And I was doing a talk for Microsoft in Las Vegas, and there was a big crowd of people at this talk, and I'm talking about whatever bullshit, enterprise software stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking afterwards to this guy, Jack, and he's asking me about whatever, and he goes, let's go down and have a beer. And, we're in a casino as we do the talk. So I said, that's great. So we go down, we're sitting down there, and we're talking a little bit about work, but eventually we drift off to other subjects. And my buddy, who was actually on episode 2 of this show, Nick Lubczynski, he's in Vegas. He's just partying at this point. and hanging out with me. As
That
I'm
was
not-
right before his move to Canada. Right?
Yeah, so he had just quit the job that I worked with him for, and went over to a competitor in Canada.
Wow.
And so he comes strolling in this bar, and he's wearing a Cold Cans shirt. And hey, Nick, do you want to tell listeners where they can get their own Cold Cans shirt?
Hey, Joe, I've had a lot of people asking to me. Many people are asking me, where do I get those Cold Cans shirts? You just go to coldcanspodcast.com/merch.
Oh, shit. And you can get it, and the stocks are probably out of date, and we may not have what you order. Anyway.
Your stocks will never be higher if you're walking around with that Cold Can shirt.
So
I know how the stock market works. That's how.
Nick comes strutting in, and he's got
Not me.
He's got this other Nick Lubchinsky comes strutting. He's got his Cold Can shirt, and this guy Jack, who's talking to me, says, well, "What's that?" And Nick's like, "Hey, that's a podcast this guy runs." And we get talking about beer, and that's good shit. And I'm telling him about how it's a bullshit podcast, and how I run it with my bullshit friend, and we're having a good time doing it. And he says, "You guys from Seattle?" I say, "No, we're from Wisconsin."
Heard of it?
And Jack says, "Well, that's a coincidence. I have family from Wisconsin."
I have heard of it.
And I said, "That's great. We're from just a tiny little town. You probably never heard of it. We're near Green Bay." He goes, "Well, that's interesting. I have parts of my family that are from a tiny little town near Green Bay." And I said, "Well, it's a town of 1,200 people. It's called Manawa, Wisconsin." And he goes, "You got to be fucking kidding me." And he has family that grew up, for those Manawinians listening, they grew up on Bear Lake, Wisconsin, this guy's family.
That's incredible.
It's an insane coincidence. At the time, I was like, this is the most insane thing. He remembered it, eventually sent a couple of these ugly pug black lagers our way. And again,
Hell yeah.
Unfortunately, I couldn't thank him in person as he sent it, and I feel terrible about that. So, Jack, again, cheers. Here's to you,
Jack.
buddy. Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
How are the first few sips going down?
I like it. I think I generally like black lagers. I've had a couple, I think, at the Red Hook Brew Lab and maybe Optimism. Maybe not, though. But I've had them before, and I like them. I like
Really?
it. It's
Yeah.
like a little bit thicker.
Yeah, I've never had this
2 Cs.
style of beer. Yeah, a little bit thick with 3 C's or
No, that 3
Caesar.
C's was
Caesar salad. 3 C's was last week's episode. that you
last
just
week's
slammed down?
episode that we
It's a tip off
recorded
to
last
listeners.
week that it's a
Back! Tip back! All right, so the Ugly Pug, it's a lot like a sort of like a stout texture, right?
yeah.
But lighter.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I was trying to get that, but yeah,
It's
the
definitely
texture
dark.
is- mhm.
Yeah, it's dark in appearance, and I'm looking at a couple of reviews of this. I'm not skipping to the BA score yet, but I'm just looking at descriptions of
That's
it.
my territory.
It is.
I'm the Bab.
I don't touch on it. You're the Bab boy. I'm the Pabst boy.
Yep.
You're the Bab
Bab.
with 2 A's boy. You're the BBB, and you're also the Bab, which is the beer advocate boy.
What is the 2 A's?
The big American Airlines boy.
Oh, right. I forgot about AA. By the way, have you been on an American Airlines?
By the way, speaking of AA.
Have you been on an American Airlines flight lately?
No.
No?
Let's go to Flight Corner. Let's go to the skies,
Opening up
folks.
the flight corner. Now it's time to. So they, instead of having their flight attendants do the demonstration in the middle of the aisle,
Sure.
they have a video. That comes
That's
on.
what Delta does.
Okay.
I'm a big Delta boy.
You're the Delta boy, and you're here to say their CEO's annoying, but he puts his face in our faces
way.
anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, they do it, and it's like this big production. It's like there's this woman who's walking through this like kind of like minimalist plane they have set up that like it's all these trendy people, and they're like showing you how to put your tray tables down and how to. There's this one bit where the guy has his cell phone out when they're supposed to be put away, and these hands come out from behind him, and they like take his phone out and like do all this stuff and touch his titties and stuff.
Whoa.
And then it is very annoying. I don't like the video actually.
When
This
your-
might be
when your titties
give me
get-
a different AA.
Sure. Yeah.
That's pretty much all I wanted to say on that.
No,
Joe.
that
the
can't be
video.
the end.
There's the video
It's a bummer that they do a video. That's annoying.
because they put this huge production into it.
Yeah.
My only thought is like, how long are they going to use this video to justify the production
It's like
costs?
6
How
months
long?
of time. Like Delta does the same thing. There's a tall woman with red hair, and she's been
Joan
doing it
Harris?
for 6 months. I think that's what it's trying to maybe potentially go for. She's been doing it for like 6 months, and then they'll do another production. And there's bits and spills,
Really?
gags and spills, and stuff like that are in it. Yeah, of course. Like there's like they ask like if your sitting at an exit row, do you agree?
Right.
And there's triplets sitting in the row of the exit row, and they all look and they all say yes at the same time.
Have
It's a
you
funny
ever
bit
seen
and
someone
gag and
say
spell.
no to the exit row responsibilities?
No, what happens? They switch seats. They ask somebody who wants to say
Right.
yes. Wow. Have you?
moved? No. I hope I see someone that's dumb enough to get out of the
You
exit
could do
row.
it. You should say it once. See, and then tape it. Put it on tape.
Put it on the YouTube.
Put it on that YouTube. Podcast it. I know how you guys out there podcasting. Hey, how's the ugly pug going down? Can you
I
tell
like it.
a
It's
back-to-back?
sippable.
It's sippable. It's not sessionable. I want to read you a little bit about what. Fuck, now I can't tell what his name is.
Fredrum?
Wood Brew.
Fredrum?
No, it says user Wood Brew on Beer Advocate. Here's what he says about the beer. I got this off a self-made mixed six-pack from Super Target in Frisco. It poured an opaque dark with thin Urku head that is leaving a spotty lace. The scent had hints of roast. The taste was nicely balanced and easy to drink. The mouthfeel is lighter in body with good carbonation. Overall, it's a solid beer. That's
I
from
think he meant Ekru.
Ekru. What did I say?
No, he says it wrong. I'm looking at it too. He says Urku. E-R-C-U.
He meant Ekru, yeah. And then I read faithfully to what Wood Brew actually wrote from his Super Target. And what's the definition for the listeners? Explain it like I'm 5.
The light beige color of unbleached linen. The color of my taint.
Oh, hey. Swinging strike 2 for Mrs. Patry for today's episode.
Hey, she's wiped that taint more than I've ever.
Jesus Christ.
That's always a joke that comes. Not the joke, even. Parents. That parents always say that stuff.
Parents say I've wiped that
I've seen
taint.
that. Well, no, not that. Not that crude. They're not crude dudes like us.
Crude dudes with attitudes.
Yeah,
the
they
two
don't.
of
They
us.
have the attitude, but they're not crude. They're not dudes. But they say stuff like that. Like, if you're like back home and you're like running from the bathroom after a shower to your room, and they're, nothing I ain't seen before.
Yeah, that's
That's how they say
you
it,
have
too.
sassy African American parents.
Come on. Yes, I do.
By the way, can we continue forever to call ourselves the crude dudes with attitudes? This is something that we used to call our flag football team. Here in
Right. It
Seattle.
was not a very successful season.
No, we were 1-8.
I-
But I think that you and I are the real crude dudes with attitudes.
Probably.
Yeah.
Cold
So-
cans.
Cold Cans Nation,
Yeah.
listening to the crude dudes with attitudes and their biffs and spells. Hey,
this
guys.
is Drive Time Radio. We got news, sports, weather coming up later. These are the crew news with attitude.
We're coming in with traffic. It's 5 o'clock, and you're gonna be backed. Beep, beep, beep.
It's a traffic, that is. We're coming back with weather. You got a beautiful day outside. 72 degrees in Washington, D.C. Did you know that it was like 80 degrees in East Coast this weekend? or
that's
this week?
great. It's cold in the West Coast. Hey, let's talk weather in a podcast that comes out in, 3 weeks or whatever we have this lined up. How's the
Timely.
beer going down?
How many times are you going to ask me that, Joe? I'm going to punch you in your ugly pug face.
It's my way to get us back into the beer. Otherwise,
It's
this
a
show,
crutch. It's
it
like the
goes off
Strahan
rails.
crutch. It's the Glock crutch.
It kind of is. Well, can you answer it now? How do we get out of it? How do we get out of the rut I dug?
Tell me to play the one more
Oh,
time.
that's funny. That's the callback we can do. Hey, the way how my beer is going down as I drink it, and my Urku is like it's just a little bit off. It's not a spotty.
My
lace as
Urku's a
I-
little berserker. Berserker. Ooh, I can't even say it.
And it's a back. It's a back.
When the boys forget to plan it, they gotta do 2 shows in a row. But when they're drinking 6.5 beers, yeah, they're ready to blow.
And when the bad boy's in his seat and he's watching the show, he's gonna figure out how to buckle his seatbelt. Yo, what? You were watching the show about how to buckle your seatbelt.
Oh.
It's a callback to what we just talked about, you fucking son of a bitch.
The thing they do on the American Airlines seatbelt thing, it's kind of cool.
Oh, you-
I can't
now you
figure
remember
out,
what it
I
is.
can't figure it out anymore. I can't figure it out.
No mo.
So the woman is standing there. The woman who does the whole thing is standing there.
Sure.
and the plane setups in her background. But then these two other flight attendants come up, and they pull a belt out from behind her and clip it in front to like show how it's done. But she's standing the whole time.
Yeah.
And then they unbuckle it and they just take it away. I don't think they bring it with them. I think it's strapped to her back, unless there's a little bit of sleight of hand going on here.
Wait.
It's strapped to her back initially, maybe with a Velcro brand, a Velcro attachment.
Oh, so there's nothing there. They bring it with them, Nick. It's in one of their pockets, and then they pull it out.
I don't know, Joe. I'll have to watch next time I fly the friendly skies with American Airlines.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
It's why we have to do
David
these
Blaine
goddamn
type stuff.
back-to-backs. It's because you're watching these David Blaine videos on your Bab planes.
I paid $20 to get my go in-flight Wi-Fi for 2 hours so I can watch David Blaine vids on YouTube.
Hey, no streaming on
They tell
GoGo,
me to
you son of a
They
bitch.
tell me to not stream, but I do.
You got to go to illegal sites to get around that. What are we talking about? Ugly Pug. How do you feel about... How's the beer going down, Nick? I'm kidding.
On the can here, it says around the rim.
Yep.
Or a lot of rim talk today. First the taint, now the rim.
I'll show you around the room.
Quality brewed, community strong, Texan proud. Those are the three.
Yeah,
and then it
that's the
repeats.
three. Yeah, sure. And there's a giant map of Texas on the back, and it says Ron Sons Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas. Lists some of their beers, and it says Prost, y'all. Prost.
That's a thing people say.
Yeah, I like this beer.
It's a German thing, right?
Yeah, it's a German. Prost. Yeah, it's their cheers. It's kind of weird that we say cheers, you know?
Why?
I don't know. I get it. Like, cheers, like we're
all in
cheers,
good cheer.
hip, hip, hooray. Like, cheers for us drinking. But I don't think cheers maps to what a lot of the other, like, Germans say Prost.
What does
Japanese
Prost
say
mean?
Kampai. What do you have to
No
say about
comment.
that? One
Is
thing
the
that's
translation.
One thing that's interesting about this beer, it's 5.5% alcohol, but it's pretty, it feels like it should be more. It's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Right? The beer we had last week.
Too thick to be this light.
Yeah, too
Thank
thick.
you.
Well done. Pseudo Sue.
Thank you.
Pseudo Sue is more alcohol, right? That was 6.2%.
Yeah,
That's
that
the beer
one we
had
did last week.
And so this is less alcohol than the one we had last week, and it like you said, it's too thick to be this light.
Wow. If I didn't say it myself, I might think it's smart.
I attributed it to you, you fucking son of a bitch.
No, I know.
Should we get to the Beer Advocate score? How about I read the Beer Advocate score? No, you read it.
Joe,
You read
that
it. You
wouldn't
read
be
it.
proper. That wouldn't be very Christian-like.
Wouldn't be prudent. You read it.
Wouldn't be prudent. What president said that?
Wouldn't be prudent. I thought it was our shop teacher, Mr. Roloff.
No. Well, yeah, he
president
probably
said
did
it?
say it. I think so.
Wouldn't be prudent.
Wouldn't be prudent if you're
Dana
not my
Carvey's-
student.
Isn't that Dana Carvey's impression of the original George Bush?
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, it's Dana Carvey doing George H.W.
Yeah,
Bush.
it wouldn't be prudent.
Okay, Ugly Pug. Now, I'm not sure this is accurate because it lists the ABV, alcohol by volume, as 4.5% on the Beer Advocate, and this
Oh.
can itself says 5.5%.
Oh, I wonder if something changed.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of mix-up here, but we're just going to go with this one. This was added in 2004, so that's, a lot of years ago.
Yeah. Who
So
could
this
do that math?
I couldn't.
14 years ago.
As a back-to-back, I couldn't even do the 2 plus 2
Hey.
with our two butts together, the back-to-back.
Why would we put our butts together?
Because it's a back. Two back. When you're standing back-to-back, those cheeks, they touch. And if you don't like it, I say, fuck you very much.
All right, that's enough. 3.63 out of 5, or good, it translates to.
Good. Okay. It is.
Probably
It's
a
good.
fair score, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I very much appreciate Jack for bringing it, and it is a good beer, but there's like a lot of strangeness here. The idea of a black lager is strange to me. It does kind of taste more in the spectrum of a stout. It's more malty.
Yeah. So it says AKA Schwartz beer. Should we look into that at all, or should we let the mystery be?
No, you look into it. I'll try to talk and fill time.
Okay.
Hummus.
No, yeah.
Have we-
Oh, the BBB boys back to say, I've been having this hummus
In a
from
very fine way,
Safeway
I'm
recently.
Safeway.
That's yeah, could have. I don't want to though. It's a green chickpea hummus, so it's before the hummus have matured. It's good though. They got
it's better before it matures. Is that what you're gonna say?
no.
In a very fine way.
No. It's interesting though. They do a spicy jalapeno. That's good to check
A
out.
jalapeno. That's how you said it.
I did. I get so true to native language when I'm drunk.
Sure.
A Schwarzbier just means black beer in German, I guess. It's just a
Okay.
dark lager, so it is exactly a black lager.
Probably something we should have known.
Right. They tend to have an opaque black color with hints of chocolate or coffee flavors and are generally around 5% alcohol by volume.
So that's definitely the difference with the other dark beers we've reviewed on this show. Is I don't get the coffee. I don't get the sort of like
You don't get the
chocolate
coffee?
flavor. I really don't.
I do get the coffee.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's where the lager came in. Is it kind of smoothed it out? It has that like. I guess I don't know necessarily how to describe the flavor profile of a stout without using coffee or chocolate, but I don't get a specific coffee flavor.
Okay. This, by the way, the stout thing is accurate. It's in line because it says they are similar to stout in that they are made from roasted malt.
Yeah, it's malty. It's
Right.
not hoppy at all.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm a
definitely
malty
get
guy.
that.
I like malty.
You're the big malt boy. I'm more of a hoppy
BMB,
guy,
that
as
was
you know.
fun.
Yeah, I'm more of a BHB. I'm the hot boy. But I appreciate a good malt, and I appreciate this. It reminds me a little bit of Old Rasputin.
Well reputed.
It's not as good as Old Rasputin. Wouldn't be prudent, Old Rasputin. But it reminds me
Old
of
Rasputin's 9% alcohol, so that might make it go down a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, it gets you drunk. You couldn't do Old Rasputin at the beginning or the end of a back-to-back. You'd be on your fucking ass. Should we review? Oh boy, should
Let's
we review
review this brew.
Should we rank this son of a bitch? I think the only way we're going to know how to rank it is if I read the rankings from T to T. What do you think, Nick?
I fully support it.
Sparks, Smirnoff Ice, O'Dulce, Not Your Father's Malt Ale.
No, don't do it like
Palisades
this.
Pineapple, Olympia, Milwaukee's Best Premium, Molson, Schlitz, Budweiser, Miller 64, Michelob Ultra, Miller Lite, Coors Light, Guinness, Schaffner Hefeweizen, Grapefruit Beer, Rolling Rock, PBR, Iron Brauweiss, Heineken, Tecate, Grain Belt, Tipsy Toboggan, Sierra Nevada, Torpedo Extra IPA, Blatz.
Because it's a Blatz. Two Blatz.
Blue Moon, Hoegaarden, Crikey IPA, Alaskan Amber, Great Lakes Crispus Ale, Samuel Adams, Boston Lager, Liney's O, Rainier, Session Premium Lager, Fat Tire, Kona Longboard, Old Rasputin, Wouldn't Be Prudent, Deschutes, Swivelhead Red, Red Hook ESB. Oh, that's kind of a nice like flow and alliteration between that. Deschutes, Swivelhead Red, Red Hook ESB. Elysian Night Owl Pumpkin Ale Before the Dawn.
You're reading the evening
Grand
news
Cru, Rodenbach Grand Cru, Spotted Cow. And we leave you with your top three. Lagunitas Nighttime Ale, Pyramid Snowcap Winter Ale, and folks, your rating number one, Pseudo Sue.
Yeah. I forgot to put the brewery on there.
Yeah,
My
you
bad,
did.
Joe.
Because last week when you initially listened to
Last
this,
week, yeah. I should have fixed that in the week since.
Toppling Goliath, Pseudo Sue. We'll edit that together nicely. So, where do you see this in the beer tiers? Remember, we had the beer tiers: Cream of the Crop, Wild Card, Deplorables, and Russian Radioactives. Do we need to add another tier? Is the list getting long enough?
Maybe. Like, I can't believe how long that list is. We've been doing this for way too long.
Almost
We're
a
only
year.
halfway there. Not even halfway there.
We're almost a year old.
Yeah.
Our cold cans little baby is almost a year old.
Yeah, they're done sucking on the titty almost. And they're going to be, bottle feeding or
Yeah.
can feeding, as it were.
Can feeding on warm expired beer with the cold cans with their two fathers.
We did a good job, though. This back-to-back had 2 cold beers.
It is.
4 cold beers.
Yeah. And I think it made it delicious. Although this one probably could have stood to be a little bit warmer if it's a dark lager.
Yeah, that's true. More chewable then.
Yeah, but it was still good. Should we break up the tiers? Cream of the Crop, Wild Card, Deplorables, Russian Radioactive. Wild Card is really big. So wild card
Understandably so.
ranges from, as far as I can tell, I believe it ranges from Fat Tire, that's right below Kona Longboard, all the way down to the Deplorables range, which is PBR. So Fat Tire through Eyinger Brauweiss is a wild card beer tier. Where can we stick a bookmark in there that would create a new tier? And folks at home, just look at our coldcanspodcast.com/rankings and you can see what we're talking about here.
Stop your car right now.
Pull over, or don't.
Yeah, hey.
Use your knees to
We used to
steer
talk
the
about it
wheel.
all the time, yeah. Get behind the wheel.
Steer your wheel with your knees and go to Cold Cans. Don't do this for the love of God.
Our lawyer. Sure, our lawyer come back in here.
Yeah.
We lost that bit along the way.
We did. It's been a year. Maybe
a
after a year
shame.
we should do another Power Hour Retro Radioactive.
Maybe.
Radioactive. What should we? Fuck a new tier. Fuck a new tier. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I don't want to do a new tier right now. I want to get out of here. My bladder's full and I need to pediddle. And I think this should go in Alaskan Amber territory.
Okay, so
Amber, I
Alaskan
hardly
Amber-
know her.
Alaskan Amber is below Great Lakes Christmas Ale, above Crikey IPA.
What do you think?
I agree, because I compared it to Old Rasputin, but Old Rasputin has that 9% alcohol. It kind of tastes similarly, but it has that alcohol smack you in the face.
And
yeah,
it had
I
a little
like that.
Spenny Mo involved with it. That helps
Yeah.
it.
As I said, I'm the big hops boy. I'm the BHB. And I'm here to say, I'm going to wrap this beat in a very fine way. I'm going to sit here and drink an ugly pug. And then I'm going to make Nick say that word called fuck. And fuck is the word that I make him say. And his mother doesn't want to. She's going to make me pay. She's going to tell me, hey, Joey, you're a bad boy. I'm going to make you Seattle's bad boy. I kind of attracted to you because you're a bad boy. Your mother is attracted to me now. And then that's what I'll say. Okay, no, let's move on.
You know how many times she's wiped my taint? Was that this episode we were talking about that?
You know how many times she's wiped my taint? All right, I'm sorry. I apologize. We'll edit that one out. So, Ugly Pug, you said Alaskan Amber. I like hoppy beers, so I like Crikey IPA a little bit more than this type of beer as well. I would put this ahead of Hoegaarden and below Crikey IPA.
Sure.
Which got
I don't
renamed.
care.
You don't give a fuck. So that's where it's going to land in our rankings. Ugly Pug. Well, hold on. We owe the listeners telling them exactly what that rankings is. And remember, you can go to coldcanspodcast.com/rankings and you can fucking look at this yourself. And you'll see as you look at home that this is our new number 20 beer of all time.
Wow.
Rar & Sons Ugly Pug. And I just want to say one more time, Jack, thank you so much for the generous beer donation to the Cold Cans Boys. And Mrs.
We're Cold Cans Boys. We're here to say thank you, Jack.
In a very fine way.
The Cold Cans Podcast is recorded in the Overcast Room at Cloud Studios in Seattle, Washington. Visit cloudstudiosseattle.com